Okay, welcome to Linda Podcast. Today we're going to talking about a lot of things Nigeria. And my name is John Vulas, and today we have Isaac Kushi, popularly known as Libi.
Popularly known. am I popular to anyone?
Of course, you are in this part of the world.
All right, thank you so much. Anyway, the Libi is still part of me as well.
Good to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much, Mr. John.
Today we're talking Nigeria, politics. Who do you think is likely to become Nigeria's president 2023?
Wow. This is a very tough question. Very tough question in the sense that the Nigeria's election, there are a lot of criterias. There are a lot of factors that determines who becomes a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Okay.
This is beyond the trend. All of us know that the Nigeria's presidential election often holds in April. It was brought back to February in 2011. And to allow litigations, and primaries were held in November and December. But this time around, primaries were held in May and June, June in particular, especially the ruling party.
Yeah.
So you have 6 months before the year runs out, then another 2 months before elections. And in politics, 24 hours is like a decade. A lot of things change within 24 hours in politics.
Okay.
Not even after 7 or 8 months. But the truth is, we can only speculate. We can only give an insight of who we think will be president. There are a lot of factors that I've said. You cannot outrightly point out who is winning the president of this country now, considering a lot of factors. And if you want me to tell you, I will tell you.
Okay, now before we delve into that, let's talk about the aspirants now, because at the moment it appears we only have 3 strong aspirants coming from the People's Democratic Party and the All Progressive Congress and the Labour Party. Person of Atiku Abubakar from the PDP, Bola Ahmed Tinubu from the APC, and Peter Obi from the Labour Party. Now, these aspirants are making a lot of wave, and there appears to be a lot of conflict of interest when it comes to these parties. If you have been on the Blue app space, you realize that there is a lot of a fight and throws of words over the fans of these candidates. What do you think? Why is this happening? Because and now, before you even say what you've got in mind, it appears that this is the first time we've got like 3 political parties who are coming up with their aspirants, and they have almost equal number of followers.
Yes, thank you so much. Ordinarily, when I mean ordinarily, the elections should be amongst the 2 major political parties, which is the APC and the PDP.
Okay.
Because in partisan politics, there is what we call party structures, spread, and acceptability of a political party.
Yeah.
These party structures are institutions that are responsible for putting on a platform that brings in a candidate.
Yeah.
Okay. You have ward, local government level, state level before the federal level. So the APC and the PDP have spread in 774 local governments, with each local government having a ward unit, and they have their party leaders across both. These are the conventional political structures we're talking about, of which, on in normal circumstances, the Labour Party shouldn't even be considered in it.
Okay.
But there is abnormality.
Interesting.
But there is abnormality in the system.
Go ahead.
The abnormality in the system is that the People's Democratic Party, which is the main opposition party, failed to galvanize the citizens.
Okay.
With respect to poor economy. with respect to handling of security, with respect to education, with respect to health sector, with respect to every sectors of the economy, from manufacturing, inflation, you can name it but few.
Yeah.
So there's a gap of leadership, or let's say even a vacuum, if I may say.
Okay.
But the People's Democratic Party have failed to do that, to actually put the government in power on their toes. And since they've not done that, Labour Party seems to be the party now that Nigerian youths are rallying around.
Yeah.
So it's given the main political establishment shiver and jittery. You can never take it away from them. And what platform are they using for now? They are using the social media platforms. And first, they said the social media has no relevance. But they are using the same social media to tell you that social media has no relevance. How does that sound to your ears?
Yeah.
Okay, now. The truth is, look at it, Mr. John. Nigeria's media, especially the conventional media, the print media has 200,000 newspaper circulation in a day. And you have 110 to 20 million internet users, with over 90 actively on daily basis, 90 million. Okay, now. Then you have a Twitter community that is about 43 million, Facebook about 60 or something relatively. I can't give you the exact figure. But I want to tell you that the social media now has become a platform of information dissemination faster than any other platform anymore. The old conventional media is very important. You can't write it off because a lot of policy framework is written there. It's been spoken there. But now the new media is where you get source of information from, not the conventional media. Radio Nigeria has 43 million listeners, the largest in Africa. You can't take that away. So, but there is no feedback mechanism. You only listen. There is no say.
Okay,
so Peter Obi has galvanized the social media against the two major political parties, and that makes him a very strong contender that you can't write him off.
Okay, now, let's even focus on the candidature of these political parties. Peter Obi, a lot of people would say that he has no political structure in place to actually fight these two strong political parties, the APC and the PDP. Now, Peter Obi, let's focus on Peter Obi now before getting to other people.
All right.
He was, in 2019, he was picked to be vice president to achieve Yes, he was. Yeah, but what happens? It appears that Nigerian youth just discover that he's competent. In 2019, he was not having this support.
Okay, the reason why he's not having that support is because he was running a joint ticket. If you look at the presidential debate in 2019, the VP, APC, and PDP, Peter Obi took the day that day against the incumbent Vice President Osibanjo. He made a mark because what he was campaigning on was actually economic-based and issue-based campaigns. Okay, now, there is a discontent in the People's Democratic Party, especially the Southeast, canvassing for power shift to Southeast. Because Southeast has been the home base of PDP from 1999 till date. Okay, they give in everything for PDP, and PDP, from all indications, were not willing to give their ticket to the Southeast, and Peter Obi defected to a Labour Party. And his defection came too sudden. If they had seen the body language that he was to defect earlier on, they would have lobbied and subdued him to defect. So he kept it to his chest, and he defected at the dying minute.
But people have it that he saw that he was not going to be given that.
That's exactly what I said. The body language of the People's Democratic Party was very clear. He was not favorable to clinch the ticket. When he knew it, they were thinking he was just in there so that if he loses, he'll be the vice president. And the Electoral Act, as amended, made it impossible if you contest a primaries of the same position after losing to defect to another party. So he knows it. If he's going to contest the PDP's presidential election, if he loses, he can't defect to another party and contest the presidency again. So that automatically makes him to leave.
So after 2019, he was no longer comfortable to become vice president as running mate to Atiku?
Yes. Because look at it. What makes you think competence is ethnic, regionally, or religiously based? Okay, let's be realistic.
Yeah.
Southeast, where I don't like talking identity politics, but I think we've tilted towards that and we must say it as raw as it is.
Go ahead.
Southeast in 1999, Ogbonna Onu clinched the ticket of the APP. That's all People's Party.
Yeah.
Alex Ekweme and Obasanjo squared in Jos here. And he was subdued to step down. He didn't. At the end of it, the lobby and what of you, either he stepped down or he was defeated. Obasanjo became the flag bearer. So, this whole Southeast voted for Obasanjo in 1999. Ogbonna Onu stepped for Olufala. They voted for Yoruba again in 1999. 2-3 Southeast voted for Obasanjo again against Ojukwu, their own son. They voted for him.
Yes.
In 2007, they voted for Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. In 2011, they voted for Goodluck Jonathan from the Niger Delta. In 2015, they voted Jonathan. In 2019, wholeheartedly and in mass, they voted Atiku again. So now tell me which region in Nigeria has shown its ability to vote for another person outside of their own region like the Southeast. So why will you deny them the ticket? One, PDP said the reason why they are not giving Peter Obi the ticket that led to his defection is that Peter Obi, they fielded in a Southerner in 1999 and a Christian. They fielded in a Southerner and a Christian in 2003. It was only in 2007 they fielded in a Northerner. Then in 2011 they fielded in a Christian and a Southerner. In 2015, they fielded in a Christian and a Southerner. Then in 2019, they fielded in a Northerner. So it behoves on them to still field in a Northerner because it was 4-2. You get it?
Wow, what a mathematics.
you understand?
Yeah.
So they give Southeast. So in the calculation, in political calculation, your home base, in trying to win your opponent, if you're not careful, if you neglect your home base, they will leave you. And this is what is playing out in PDP. Now, before you are declared winner of Nigeria's election, Nigeria, don't forget, we are not a democracy. We are a republic.
Go ahead.
They are distinctively different. There is a difference between being a democracy and a republic. A democracy is a system whereby a simple majority determines a winner. Whereas a republic, you cannot just be declared winner because you have a simple majority. You must have a spread.
Yeah.
So just having a simple majority in Nigeria's election cannot make you a winner. So you need to have what? 2/3 of the 36 states.
Yeah.
Meaning you must have 25% in 24 states and having a simple majority before you be declared a winner. And none of these three candidates, I see them having that in this forthcoming election.
Well, okay, now because we're talking about Obi here, let's touch the controversies that we've got. Okay, Peter Obi is coming from a separatist group, and we all know about the clamor for Biafra. You understand? Now, because a lot of people are using this against him, being an Igbo man, contesting, and who wants to become president of Nigeria. Now, okay, apart from that, now he was just a governor. He was two-time governor of Anambra State. Now, take a look at it. Talking about competence here, let's even dive away from, the agitation and the cry that a lot of people say he's coming from a separatist group. Take a look at these two factors.
Listen, this is the most absurd and repugnant argument that you can ever present to anyone who has sensibility. And I mean it with all seriousness.
Okay.
Attributing activities of separatists to Peter Obi is very, very disloyal and disservice to him. Because if you attribute separatist group to Peter Obi, you should equally attribute Boko Haram to Atiku from the northeast where he comes from.
Go ahead.
And you should also attribute banditry to the present president Muhammadu Buhari to him. You should also attribute OPC to present Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because let me tell you something. There is a resentment against these people. There is a difference between
the argument these people keep throwing before you continue is on the basis you cannot put together insecurity and secession.
You see,
you understand?
Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. There is what we call indigenous people of Biafra.
Yeah.
This is a group with Mosop that are clamoring for Southeast to succeed from Nigeria.
Yeah.
And it is not an Igbo race stuff. It's a group that is canvassing. And has Peter Obi registered as a member of these groups?
Whether or not people still say
that's
Peter
what I'm
Obi,
saying.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, listen, what I'm saying is attributing it to him that some section of his tribe are saying they want to break out is this,
which he belongs to.
He belongs to the tribe, not to the group. I'm not speaking for him.
Of course, you know what has been happening in that part of the country, where they even talk about non-movement and all of that, stay-at-home order and all of these things. And this is Peter Obi is coming from Anambra State.
Yes.
This is the argument, and because I don't have problem with that if Peter Obi is an Igbo man or coming from a separatist group. But this is the fear of so many Nigerians.
Listen, John, Mr. John, listen. No. Don't twist the narrative. This is what you people in the media do. No. I'm coming.
I don't have problem with that.
No, I'm
coming. I'm telling you what people are saying
I'm
out
coming.
there.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
I'm coming.
Go ahead.
I'm saying the what you're in the media. There's what we call agenda setting of the media.
Sure.
They set the agenda for public national discourse. So when you set an agenda on a faulty premise, it behoves on us, the public, to query that as well.
Okay.
It's not just the media that queries the public. We query the media as well. When they set a national agenda that is on a faulty premise.
Yeah.
Okay? And this is what am I trying to tell you is that there are what we call herders from House Fulani that have been marauding people.
Yeah. So
if you say that you won't vote for Atiku is a Fulani man, so he should be do you know Nigeria is the third most terrorized country in the world according to Global Terrorism Index, and 86% of this terrorism and killing act take place in the north. So if it's on that basis, then there shouldn't be any northern president. If you want to say that,
but you cannot pull away ethnicity from Nigerian politics.
Good.
You know that.
What I'm trying to tell you is that if the media will attribute this to a candidate, they should do it all. This is my.
This is not the media attributing all of this to candidates.
I'm coming. Let's get this thing straight.
Go ahead.
I always say it that I'm not happy with ethnic profiling of the Fulanis. Like now, if something happened, they will tell you that Fulani man kills so persons. But if it happens in Southeast, they will tell you man 33 kills somebody. They wouldn't say an Igbo man. They will not say Ijo fisherman kills so person. They will not say a Yoruba cocoa farmer has killed so person. They wouldn't call their tribes. But once it's Fulani, they will tell you Fulani man do this thing. Yeah. And this is what I've been saying is wrong. Media shouldn't do that. The reportage. So I'm not trying to, and in the same thing here, I'm saying the profiling of Igbos as this is completely wrong. There is what we call saturated samples. So you don't use a small group to actually determine a larger ethnic group.
Yeah, I understand. You're trying to kick against stereotyping and all of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Step away from Peter Obi. Let's talk about Atiku before coming to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Atiku Abubakar. He was one-time vice president of Nigeria, and he once had an opportunity to make Nigeria better in his own capacity as vice president. And a lot of people, because I keep saying people, this is not my opinion. You've been on social media and you've been watching a lot of debate. And when it comes to Atiku, they will keep telling you that he once had an opportunity and he did almost nothing for Nigeria. why is he insisting that he must be president of Nigeria?
I think they're not being fair to him.
Go
if
ahead.
You see that because Atiku was only vice president; he wasn't a president.
In his own capacity as
yes,
vice
as
president,
vice president,
people say that he did not even deliver.
Let me tell you something.
Yes.
In Obasanjo's team, Atiku being the vice president by default, he's the head of the economic management team. And inside that my economic management team, who started Bureau for Public Enterprise, like taking it to public-private partnership, it was under his office. Okay. The agency has been there, but who aligned it to public-private partnership? They brought in privatization sector policy under his office. From Nitel, how Nitel was discarded to open up the telecom industries. From Nikon, you saw it.
Yeah.
Okay, now who brought the idea of banking merger 25 billion asset base and the world under Chukwuma Soludo? It was Atiku. The truth is, Atiku was architect of emergence of Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, Nasir El-Rufai, Chukwuma Soludo, and the rest. He brought them to the fray into the public sector, and you saw what has happened. So being a vice president, you are like a spare tire.
In Nigeria.
Yes. Okay. And at the same time, you had the Economic Council meeting. So in the aspect of policy formulation, actually, you are very, very crucial. You are very, very important.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about how he worked to ensure that Nigeria's debt was pardoned through the Paris Club and the rest. And he grew, the Nigeria's economy grew far from military era. From 1999 to 2005, you saw the growth. It grew by 4%. You understand?
Yeah.
So people who are saying that he has his right to contest one as president, and saying he did not deliver as vice president as a criteria not to vote for him. Well, you can use that, but I think it's not being fair to him. That's my personal opinion.
Now, you talked about privatization that he has done in the past, and this is one thing again that people are using against him.
Okay.
In 2019, when you talk about privatization of the NNPC, it was a serious blow on his face.
Okay. Yeah. As it is now, do you know that NNPC has been privatized? Do you know that as it is now, NNPC is a private sector? Now, it's a privatized venture.
Where is the confusion coming from?
Okay, because the truth is, we have not yet defined our economy. We are a capitalist economic system. We're not a socialist economic system. So, privatization is part and parcel of the capitalist system. Capitalism thrives when public sector come in and inject funds into the private sector come and inject funds into the public sector. I don't want to go deeper into socialism and capitalism, but the truth is, as it is now, what is NNPC? What Shell, Mobil, Chevron, and the rest are the one who carry the crude as under private entities, take it out. What is refined and bring it out, and they pay loyalty to the government. They are the one paying the loyalty to the government. Automatically, NNPC is a privatized venture, as it is now. But the problem is that probably he said it too loud.
Yeah.
And Nigerians are very sensitive to that, and they felt it shouldn't be under a private sector. But as it is, NNPC now is virtually a private sector.
Okay, now stay away from Atiku. Let's talk about Bola Ahmed Tinubu. APC. People say they have the power. Yeah. And let me touch on his health, because this has been a concern for so many Nigerians that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not physically fit to become Nigeria's president. A lot of people are scared.
Actually, I think before we talk about his health, we should also talk about his abilities. And I think so far so good with his performance as Lagos State Governor. You can't take it away. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a top-notch technocrat. He's actually a Democrat as well, and he's actually a performer. You can't take that away from him. But you talk about his health. Actually, it's a big factor. Sometimes health challenges are beyond the physical as well. What of your mental health? What of your psychological health? And what of other side of your health challenges?
Yeah.
So on the issue of Peter Obi, Bola Ahmed
Mm.
Tinubu's health challenge, actually is a factor that we cannot run away from it.
Mm.
If he's not physically fit, I think it will affect his performance in office.
Mm.
But Nigeria's president's office come with a lot of luxury benefits that he might get when
So
he's there.
he will be fine
I'm serious.
when he becomes Nigeria's president.
The present president, how was he
Was
before he
he?
became the president?
Okay. Now let's talk about the Muslim ticket,
Yes.
because a
a
lot of uprising.
Yes. Actually, this is very insensitive to the plight and heterogeneity of Nigeria. Nigeria is a heterogeneous society. It's an assembly of over 450 tribes.
Mm.
And is the third or second, or for some say even first, most religious country in the world, whereby over 94% of the citizens identify with one faith or the other.
Mm.
And this faith is almost equal among Muslims and Christians. There are things that are legally right but morally wrong. While there are things that are morally right, they are legally wrong.
Yeah.
So we must get that. By constitution, Tinubu violated no.
He's actually not against any law.
But at the same time, there are part of the laws, I'm not a lawyer, that said an association that will reflect national unity and integration. So going for same faith ticket is against that aspect of the constitution that talk about national unity, inclusiveness, and integration.
Now, Isaac Kushi.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we should be talking about competence.
Yes.
Competence should be, the focus here. So why are we bringing religion into it? If Bola Ahmed Tinubu is running a Muslim ticket and they will deliver and they are both competent, should we be bothered about religion here?
Yeah, Nigeria's democracy hasn't reached that level. Now, let me tell you something. Nigeria.
Does it matter if you are good and you are Muslim?
Let me ask you something. How does being competent has to do with religion?
There are two separate things.
Good. Then, how can you annihilate 50% of the population and tag them not competent?
Well, now, if I understand where you're headed,
that is it's a slap on the face of the other people to talk about competence. This is clearly political language.
Yeah.
And in political language, what the political masters are after is numbers and delivery. They are not actually after competence. You see, one bad thing about democracy.
And that's sad.
Yes, one bad thing about democracy.
Yeah.
Democracy is not always perfect. And one bad thing about democracy is your right to freely choose a candidate supersede merit.
The way it's happening here.
No, see, you see, democracy is all about your right to freely choose your leaders by your own self. So, if you freely choose a leader without hindrance, without any undue interference, democracy has taken place. But let's ask ourselves, is our democracy reflective of our values? Germany practiced democracy, England practiced democracy, France, America, but all of them practice democracy in accordance with their values and to their own system and peculiarities as a people. You cannot carry a democratic system that is not in peculiarity with the people there, with the locals. Politics is learned international and practiced locally. So, by virtue, Nigeria's political system has always been, there is unwritten constitution and unwritten law that if the president is from north, the vice president should come from the south. If the president is a Christian, the VP should be a Muslim. These are not written constitution.
Exactly.
But these are moral. That's why I told you there are things that are morally right but legally wrong, and legally right and morally wrong. Like this one now is completely against the part of the constitution that talk about fairness, equity, justice, and national integration and unity. Because one thing is we are all sensitive to our religion due to nothing but emotional benefit.
Quite unfortunate.
Yes. If you go to the market now, if you want to go and buy rice, if they want to sell it for you, they won't ask you of your tribe or religion.
No, not at all.
If you're a Muslim now, will they say, because you're a Muslim, I will sell this thing for you for 15
Not
naira?
at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
But because of emotional satisfaction, Nigerians, once their own is there, even if they are suffering, they are okay. So you must understand the psyche of the people. And the leaders understood that. That's why they keep whipping up religious and ethnic sentiment to determine who should be a leader.
Okay, now, okay, I understand you. Being a political analyst for long, because I've been following you. You talk about politics a lot, and you have a lot of digestions about politics, especially in Nigeria.
Yes.
Now, taking a look at these three people,
who
do you think?
Will likely
not about who is likely to become, but as a political analyst, who do you think is the best man for Nigeria?
Okay. there are different parameters of choosing who the best man is.
From your own perspective.
Yes, from my own perspective. From my own perspective. I choose a leader based on economic reasons. I don't choose a leader based on social issues.
Who suits in?
That's where I'm coming. If you are a candidate, the reason why I choose, I'm tilting towards Peter Obi.
Okay.
Because of his economic policies that he has said he wants to put on board.
He said he wants
to put on board. Okay, now. Because it's okay. Everybody can tell you I'll create 3 million jobs. But how has the person tell you how I intend to do it? This is what he's doing that I love. Okay, now, in 2015, I voted for Jonathan, and I told people my reasons for voting Jonathan. Then people were laughing at me. He's very here. And I told them the reason why I'm voting Jonathan is because of economic reasons. My friend, Kwaj, I told him this. I told him I'm not voting in Jonathan because he belongs to the same faith with me, God forbid.
Yeah.
I've seen people saying they are going to vote for him because he was a Christian. I'll be like, are you okay? The reason why is because he has brought inflation down. He has done, like, he grew our economy.
Yeah.
So the same thing happening now.
Yeah.
If like other candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, always telling you that it is my turn. Nigeria's president now is being told is the turn of this one.
Okay, now,
Atiku in particular. The reason why I'm not tilting towards Atiku, I supported his candidature in 2019. And my anger for not supporting his candidature in 2019 is that Atiku left Nigerians in the hands of tyrannical leaders. Stayed in Dubai for 3 years. When election comes, he comes back and said he wants your vote.
Okay, now
that's my grievance with him.
Yes.
Not the matter of anything. And if I see a better blueprint, believe you me, I'm not a fixated voter that this is my candidate whether he likes. If along the line within months Peter Obi starts a blunder, I will definitely pull out.
Okay, out of the options we've got, you are saying you will go for Peter Obi for economic reasons and all of that. Now, lastly, before we go, let's talk about the electorate. It is very, very clear to every Nigerian that most people, most intellectuals don't get to vote. Now, I'm coming from this angle. A lot of, let's start from a lot of Nigerian youth, they work for INEC, ad hoc staff. Almost all core members work for INEC. Civil servants work for INEC.
Police, they don't vote that day.
Yes.
They make up a lot of numbers.
Yes. Who are the people that vote?
Okay.
You find people in the rural places, you go to suburban areas, people who don't even know A or B are people left to vote.
Okay, let me tell you something.
What would you speak of this situation?
This situation. Let me tell you
social
something.
Media.
Let me tell you something. This situation is more of a myth than reality. You know why I'm saying?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Why I'm telling you this is that Nigeria now has has undergone over 65 to 70% by Nigerian Bureau of Statistics rural to urban migration.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know that Bauchi local government constitute over 13 local governments of the total votes?
Go ahead.
In the whole so-called rural areas that you're talking about. In Jos, for example, the last 1-point-something million people that voted in 2015 in Jos, over 600 to 700,000 voted in Jos. The Kano, that 1-point-something million, about 800,000 voted inside the Kano town.
Enlightened electorates?
Okay,
that's the question.
The problem is, how do you define not an enlightened electorate?
Yes, there are a lot of definitions to it.
That is it. Because if you go by the virtue of by the virtue of being rural and urban as a definition of enlightened electorate, that means those that are enlightened are more because they stay in the urban area.
Now, if you substitute this number of people, these categories of people I've just mentioned from the public, yes, where will you get, people who are said to have known their A or B, left or right about politics and all of that?
Okay, yes. I quite agree with one of the things that you talk about, the voting, like youths not been voting and they make noise on social media. You can never deny that fact.
Yeah.
But now, anybody that tells you that people in the rural area are the one voting more, go and check the figure. It's more of a myth. Go and check INEC data. People like Lagos, this is the center. Look at Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt alone constitute how many percent of the people outside? So anybody that tells you these villages are small, they have more people willing to vote actually than those in the city. But if you compile all their votes and the people at the town, it has always been the town that is a determinant factor.
Okay, yeah.
Former governor, the
present governor about that.
Bauchi. He won Bauchi State. How many local government? About 6 local government out of the 20, but he won the election.
Okay, thank you very much, Isaac Kushi, for being on the Lindo podcast. We appreciate your submission. Now, what will you have to tell Nigerians?
Well,
in just a few seconds.
What I want to tell Nigerians is that if they want to go and vote, we are urging the ruling class to tone down the rhetorics, the division. If it's possible, if the All Progressive Congress can rescind their decision of fielding in a same-faith ticket, it will douse down tension in this country. And the electorates actually tilt towards what the elites do. So, if they can tilt down the tension of promoting ethnicity, religion, instead of delivery, competence, it will go a long way in having a good number of electorates chalking out to vote. And to the masses on the street, the truth is, there's no separate market for a Yoruba man. There's no separate market for an Igbo man. There's no separate market for Joan or what of you. And the notion that if you vote in for this, my tribal person or my religious person, my life will be better, is a myth. If not, Daura would have been the best city in Nigeria. Utoki of Jonathan would have been the best city in Nigeria. In Obasanjo's village. But having the presidency is not a recipe for growth and development alone. So if you want to vote in for someone, you vote in somebody that can deliver on economic issues. I keep telling this on economic issues because this is what springs development.
Okay, thank you very much. Lindo Podcast, talking politics.
Thank you so much.